Cold calling has its place. Every producer's done it. It builds grit. It sharpens your pitch. And early on, it might even be your best shot at filling your pipeline. But here's the thing. If you're still grinding the phones day after day, chasing $5,000 accounts, when what you really want are $50,000 accounts, then something's broken. You're working hard, but you're not working smart. And let me ask you this. Would you rather call 100 strangers hoping one picks it up, or have your best client walk you into the office of your ideal prospect and say, "This is the guy who changed our game. You need to talk to him"? And that's the difference between cold calling and what I call red hot introductions. And today I'm going to show you how to stop playing the numbers game and start getting in front of the right people faster, warmer, and with way more trust. Hi there, I'm Randy Schwantz, and welcome to the Bignition channel, the home of the triple threat solution, sales training, sales CRM, and sales management platform, all in one integrated system. So the problem with working hard. But before I show you how to use red hot introductions to land big accounts, let's talk about why most producers never get there. Because the truth is, most producers don't even realize they're stuck. They're out there making dials, booking the meetings, chasing quote after quote, thinking that's just what it takes. But what if I told you the real reason you're not landing bigger accounts isn't your effort, it's your approach? Look, I'm not here to bash cold calling. It's where most of us started. It teaches discipline. It builds grit. It forces you to get tight with your message, and it can be incredibly successful. But there's a point where cold calling goes from being a growth tool to a time sink, and that is keeping you small. Let's say you built up a $250,000, $300,000 book. You've got happy clients, solid retention. You're not new anymore, but you're still grinding through call lists like you're fresh out of licensing. You're making 100 dials to maybe land one decent meeting. You show up, pitch your face off, and it's a $7,000 account that doesn't return your phone calls. You do that 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, and maybe you add 50K to your book. That's not growth, that's survival. And the worst part, you've got good clients right now. Good clients who love you, trust you, and would introduce you to your dream accounts if you just asked the right way. And the problem isn't effort. You're putting in plenty of that. The problem is leverage. You're still working hard when you've already earned the right to be working smart. And that's what we're here to fix it. So what is a red hot introduction? So now you're probably thinking, all right, Randy, I get it. Cold calling is effort. Introductions are leverage. But what the hell is a red hot introduction? Well, I'm glad you asked, because this isn't just another fluffy sales term. It's a real strategy. And once you understand the difference, you'll never waste your time working with a weak referral again. So let me start by telling you what it's not. It's not a lead. It's not someone handing you a business card saying, "Here, you should call this guy." And it's definitely not a client saying, "Feel free to drop my name." That's a referral, and 90% of the time it goes nowhere. But a red hot introduction is something different. It's when your client, someone who already trusts you, introduces you to someone they know personally and tells your story before you ever pick up the phone. They don't just say, "You should meet Randy." Instead, they say, "Let me tell you what Randy did for us. He cut through the BS. He exposed the gaps in our coverage. He lowered our mod and proactively permitted 3 claims last year. You're running into the same stuff. You need to talk to him." And that right there, that's not a cold call. That's not even warm. That's on fire. Because now when you call, they're expecting you. They trust you before you even start speaking. You're not selling, you're solving. And when you're after $25,000 and $50,000 accounts, that kind of trust isn't optional. It's the price of admission. So how to get red hot introductions, a 5-step system. So now you're thinking, all right, Randy, this sounds great, but how do I actually get red hot introductions? Perfect. Let's break it down step by step, because once you know how to ask and who to ask, you can build a pipeline that works better than any cold call list ever could. So step number 1, know your ideal prospect. Look, before you ask for any introductions, you need to know who you actually want to meet. And I'm not talking about business owners or anyone who buys insurance. That's vague. That's weak. You want red hot introductions to $25 or $50, even $100,000 accounts. Then dial in your ideal prospect profile. That means industry, premium, location, revenue, number of employees, complexity. And the sharper your target, the easier it is to identify exactly who you want to meet. And then step number 2, mine your clients' networks. See, once you've identified who you want to meet, now comes the fun part. You pull up LinkedIn, you look at the client's best connections. They're already connected to 3, 5, maybe even 10 people who match your profile. Don't leave that to chance. Do your homework. And then come to them and say, hey, I noticed you're connected with a guy named Anil Mehta. He runs Mehta Logistics, right? That's exactly the kind of business I work with. Would you be open to introducing us? That's precise, that's professional, and that's how you guide the introduction instead of hoping they guess right. So step number 3, ask with confidence and clarity. And this is where most producers blow it. They get sheepish, they fumble the ask. They say things like, hey, if you know anyone who might need help. No, stop that. That's begging for a maybe. Instead, you say, you've told me what we did made a difference. There's someone in your network who's probably dealing with the same problem you were. I'd love to be introduced. Would you be open to that? Now that's confident, it's clear, and it honors the relationship. You're not asking for a favor. You're offering value to someone they care about. And then step number 4, make the story transferable. So here's the trick. You don't just want an intro. You want your story to go with it. You want your client to say something like this. Randy helped us figure out we were overpaying for coverage we didn't need and exposed some real gaps in our risk profile, implemented a driver safety plan, and reduced our claims by 15%. We were wasting money, totally exposed, and he fixed it. That's the magic. That story positions you as the trusted expert before you even show up. And that's what makes the call or meeting land differently. You're not walking in cold. You're walking in with credibility already installed. And then step number 5, follow up like a pro. Now this part's obvious, but you'd be shocked how many producers blow it here. You get the intro, the door's open, and you just wait. Don't wait. Follow up fast, follow up professionally, and make your client look smart for introducing you. Don't pitch, don't pounce. Just say, hey, I work with Dave over at Keystone Builders. He mentioned you might be running into something similar in terms of problems. I'd love to compare notes. Can we grab 15 minutes? You're not selling. You're starting a conversation and doing it from a place of trust. That's it, just 5 steps. Number 1, know who you want. Number 2, find them in your client's network. 3, ask the right way. 4, equip your client to tell your story. And number 5, follow up like a professional. And that's how you replace cold calls with warm, credible introductions that land real businesses. Objections and mindset shifts. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Randy, I get this. It sounds great, but I don't want to come off pushy. What if my client feels uncomfortable? What if it ruins the relationship? That's exactly the kind of mindset that's keeping you stuck chasing $5,000 accounts instead of getting introduced to $50,000 ones. So let's talk about that. Look, I've worked with thousands of producers, and the number one reason they don't ask for red hot introductions is not because they don't know how. It's because they're afraid of how they'll be perceived. And I get it. But let me flip that for you. If you've delivered real results, if you've helped that client save money, fix coverage gaps, avoid risk, then not asking is actually selfish. Why? Well, because you've got something that can help someone else, something they care about, and you're keeping it to yourself. You're not pitching. You're not begging. You're offering to bring the same value to someone else with your client's endorsement leading the way. And that's not salesy. That's leadership. And if you frame it like that, if you carry yourself like that, your best clients will want to introduce you because they trust you and because they're proud of the work you've done. So here's the bottom line. Asking for a referral feels like a favor. Asking for a red hot introduction feels like a collaboration. You're not just saying, hey, who do you know? You're saying, let's team up and help someone else the way I helped you. And that's a different posture. That's a different energy. And that's what high-performing producers understand. So let's call it like it is. You keep hammering cold calls. You can keep chasing tiny accounts and hoping for callbacks. You can keep playing the numbers game and watching the numbers burn you out. Or you can take what you've already earned, your best client relationships, and start turning that into serious momentum. Red hot introductions aren't fluff. They're not gimmicks. They're how real producers get in front of real decision makers with real trust. And the best part, you don't have to beg. You don't have to trick anyone. You just have to be intentional, confident, and clear about the value you bring and who you want to bring it to. So here's what you should do right now. Pick your best client, go through their LinkedIn, find one person who fits your ideal profile, and ask. Ask for just one red hot introduction. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never look at prospecting the same way again. And if you want more commercial sales strategies like this one, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.